My name is Kazuki Nomoto. I'm a graduate student at Waseda University in Japan. So today, I will present our research on browser permission mechanism demystifiers. This research is a collaboration between Waseda University, NTT, NICT, and Riken AIP. First, I will provide an overview of our research. We developed Permium, a web browser analysis framework. This framework automatically analyzes the permission mechanism implemented by various browsers. The target of our analysis are 22 browsers running on 5 different operating systems, including mobile and desktop. We found that implementation of permission mechanism is inconsistent between operating systems, even for same browsers. Based on this finding, we developed 2 proof of concept attacks and evaluate the feasibility. Further, I will provide a background. Browser permission mechanisms allow browser to control the use of camera, GPS, and other similar resources by website. The permission mechanism is managed separately for each website and each permission type. Each browser vendor implements the permission mechanism according to its own policy because there is no standard for it. The outline of this research is as follows. First, we analyze the permission implementation of various browsers. We also analyze the user expectation. Then, we propose a new attack based on our findings. Finally, as a countermeasure, we discuss and propose a countermeasure. So, let me explain our analysis. The target browser for our analysis are 22 browsers, including 5 types of browsers and 5 types of operating systems. Target permission type are microphone, camera, geolocation, and notification. Next, I provide the methodology of our analysis. The analysis is divided into 2 steps: data logging and data analysis. In data logging, we define the analysis scenario. Permium automatically operates the browser and log the operation and the permission status based on the analysis scenario. In data analysis, we develop the permission mechanism by analyzing the logs. Here, I provide the analysis scenario that defines what we analyze in the browser. Due to time limitation, I will only explain the result of 2 analysis scenarios, such as persistence of permission and the impact of browsing mode in this presentation. This is a demonstration of a Permium framework. Permium has a screen for 5 different operating systems. Permium automatically recognizes the UI of browser and operates it. Implementing the Permium framework has 2 technical challenges. The first challenge is realizing measurement across a wide range of browser and operating systems. So Permium does not use any existing browser auto manipulation framework, such as Selenium. So analysts can analyze third-party browser on iOS. The second challenge is providing abstracted operating method that can absorb the difference of browsers. So analysts can analyze 22 different browsers by writing only 1 code. Here is a summary of our analysis result. We found 191 implementation inconsistencies that could lead to user privacy risks. From here, I present the result of our analysis. First, I provide the analysis scenario T2. In T2, we analyze the persistence of a permission state. Specifically, a client device first grant or deny the permission prompt. Then, we restarted the browser. Finally, we investigate the permission status on browser when it receives a permission request from the same origin website. This demo summarizes the result in normal browsing mode. The permission state persists in many cases. In normal browsing mode, in Chrome and Edge, all four analyzed permission type persisted except for iOS. So this table summarizes the result for private browsing mode. In private browsing mode, we expect that the granted permission was not persistent. However, we found several exceptions. iOS third-party web browsers were different from other browsers. Geolocation permission persists when the user grants the permission at least twice. Next, we show the result of analysis scenario T3. We investigate the impact of a browsing mode on the permission state. The analysis procedure is as follows. First, in normal browsing mode, a client device accesses website A, which requests permission. The client devices grant or deny the request. Next, the browser is switched to private browsing mode. The client devices access website A again, and we check the permission state. This table summarizes the result. To our surprise, the permission state was not always isolated between browsing mode in many browsers. In general, the granted permission not always isolated. The granted permission state set in normal browsing mode were rarely shared to private browsing mode. But the iOS WebKit web browser, except iOS Safari, shares the geolocation permission between browsing mode. And the Safari on macOS shares the notification permission state. In Chrome, Edge, and Brave, the denied permission set in normal browsing mode is reflected in private browsing mode. In total, we found 191 implementation inconsistencies. This analysis shows the implementation of a permission mechanism differ from browser to browser and OS to OS. In our study, we not only identified implementation inconsistencies between browsers, but also we identified the inconsistency between browser implementation and user expectation. So due to time limitation, I will only describe the highlight of the user study. This study found that there is a gap between user expectation and the browser implementation. A user study found that about 70% of users expect that permission state is not persisted in private browsing mode, and they expect that permission state is not shared between browsing mode. But all browsers retain some permission state in private browsing mode. Some of these permission states are shared between browsing mode. So this gap creates a risk that user privacy could be violated. Okay, next, I will propose and evaluate a new attack based on findings from our analysis. Now, we propose two attacks, a permission-based user tracking attack and permission-based phishing attack. In a permission-based user tracking attack, an attacker tracks a user by checking the permission state set for the attacker's website. In a permission-based phishing attack, an attacker compels the user to mistakenly grant access to a resource by presenting fake permission request prompt. So in this presentation, I will only describe the permission-based user tracking attack. So I show the threat model of a permission-based user tracking attack. The attacker's purpose is identify the users who access the website. The attacker has two types of website. The first is a landing website. The attacker attempts to identify the user who accessed the landing website. The second is tracking website. The attacker has multiple tracking websites with different origins. Here, I show the procedure of permission-based user tracking attack. The procedure comprises three steps. Step 1, the user ID assignment. Step 2, encoding. And step 3, decoding. This attack is not only normal fingerprinting attack. this attack actively set the permission state corresponding to the user ID for each website. Attackers can identify user deterministically. The following page describes each step. In step 1, the user ID assignment, an attacker assigns a user ID to each target. The 0 and 1 of the user ID correspond to the permission status, not denied and denied. Therefore, the user ID is a binary number between 0 and 1. In step 2, encoding. Using JavaScript code, an attacker manipulates the permission state of the tracking website following the ID generated in step 1. The nth letter of user ID corresponding to the permission status of the nth websites. In this case, the user ID is 010011. This means that the second, fifth, sixth character of user ID are set to 1. In this case, the attacker set the target browser permission state to deny for the second, fifth, and sixth corresponding to the tracking website. We found that it was possible to set the permission state to deny by repeatedly request permission and reloading via JavaScript. Attacker can use implementation to set the permission state for tracking website to denied. In step 3, decoding. When the user visits the landing website, their browser loads the malicious code. This code makes browser access tracking website and checking the permission state on each tracking website. The attacker can decode the binary sequence corresponding to the permission status. Then the attacker obtains the user ID. So this means that the attacker is possible to track the user. Here, I present result of our evaluation of this attack. We found that all browsers except iOS browser and Firefox can be targeted. Tracking user from normal browsing mode to private browsing mode is feasible. We also evaluate the time required for this attack. The time needed for this attack is related to the number of the target users. So in this paper, in this presentation, we show the result of the measurement when attacker tried to track the 1.3 billion users. We found that step 2 takes only 7 seconds and step 3 takes 2.6 seconds. So step 2 only needs to be done once for each user, while step 3 is done multiple times each time a user is identified. Therefore, this attack is highly effective. Finally, I will discuss and propose the countermeasures. We believe that both short-term and long-term countermeasures are required. In short-term perspective, we report the vulnerability to the browser vendors. The Brave and Firefox have already fixed some of the implementation we reported. Other browsers are still under consideration. We also mentioned that a long-term perspective is also needed. It is important to identify design issues, standardize, and to share the best practice among browser vendors. This will prevent future vulnerability before they actually introduce the real software. So we actually take action from a long-term perspective. We are publishing a vulnerability disclosure timeline on our website. We also publish a lot of information. This is expected to spread the information more widely outside the research community. Finally, I show the summary. Thank you for listening. Please give me any questions. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any questions for the speaker? Okay.
Hi, great talk. I'm just curious, why do you think the browsers had these inconsistencies? For example, like you found that the permissions was set in normal browsing mode and then it still persisted in private browsing mode. Do you think it's just because the browser manufacturers were not aware of this, or do you think there's like the real reason why they did this?
Thank you for your question. I think your question is why there is many implementation inconsistency in many browsers. So I think that there is a lot of reasons. So I think one reason is that permission mechanism is I think there is a historical reason. So permission mechanism is not implemented at one time. So many web API have already implemented, and when the web IP needs a permission, the permission mechanism is implemented. So due to this reason, so it is many inconsistencies throughout the version. And we disclose vulnerability to many browsers. We discussed ideal implementation. So some browser vendors say that the implementation that permission state is shared between browser mode is due to usability. So, for example, if the user denies the permission in normal browsing mode, many users agree that in private browsing mode, the permission state is set to deny. So, but I think there is some problem. So it is possible to leverage. It was possible to be leveraged to attack. So that is my answer. Thank you.
Any more question? I do have one. So you just mentioned many reasons leading to the inconsistency. But does this also mean it's very hard to completely solve the problem?
Yeah, I think your question means that. So is it possible to unify the inconsistencies?
My question is because of so many reasons leading to the inconsistency, then because of real reasons, right? Does this mean it's very hard to solve this inconsistency? Completely solve it? Is it very hard?
Yeah, I agree that it is very hard to completely unify the inconsistencies. So, but I think it is important to continuously discuss the ideal implementation among the browser vendors.
Okay. So we have no question? Okay, we're going to utilize it again. So you mentioned for this concrete attack, you mentioned you have this landing website and tracking website. So does this mean for every state you need to have one individual tracking website? Okay. Is that true?
Yeah. So yeah, that's true.
So in that case, because one website only includes one page information, right?
Yeah.
So to track how many users, depending on how many website you can, how many track website you can open in landing website, right?
How many websites is necessary to track the user?
Do you need to open all the tracking website all together at the same time, or you can do it one by one?
Not one by one.
At the same time?
Yeah.
But to track this 4.6 million user, how many websites you need?
Yeah. So.
I think it's fine.
For example, when I attacker got 1.3 billion users, the 32 website is necessary.
How many?
32.
32. Okay.
32, yeah.
I see. This sounds a reasonable number
Yeah.
in current browsers. Okay, thank you.